Good morning, dear students. Welcome to the part 2 of chapter Reproduction in Plants. Kids, as you know that in the last live class we have discussed about the different modes of reproduction. Today we will see the more ways of reproduction, and first we will have the recap of the taught part. Children, you know that we have already learned what is reproduction. Living organisms produce more than of their own kind, and this process by which living organism produces like itself, it is called as reproduction. And you know that why reproduction is important, because it allows living organism to continue to live on earth from one generation to the other. In that we have seen there are modes of reproduction in which we have learned about most plants have roots, stems and leaves. These are called the vegetative part of plant. Right? And also we have learnt about the reproductive parts. So flowers perform the function of reproduction in plants. So flowers are called as reproductive parts. So all these comes under this part, and I have discussed with you the diagram of flower as well, and we will discuss it more in sexual reproduction. So as per our topic, we have seen the the types of reproduction are asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. The asexual reproduction is the one in which new plants produce without the help of seed, and in sexual reproduction new plants are produced from the seeds. In asexual reproductions, there are different types of asexual reproductions like vegetative propagation, budding, fragmentation, spore formation, in which we have already discussed vegetative propagation and seen the examples of such kind of pictures: stem cutting of rose, money plant, potato plants sprouting from eyes, ginger with new plants, bryophyllum leaf with new plants, and cactus also. So we have already seen this example of vegetative propagation. Now it comes to budding. In this method, a small projection called bud is formed on the yeast cell, and the bud grows and become a new yeast cell. Children, you can see this. It is an outgrowth, small outgrowth is forming. We have another example, hydrilla plant. The new yeast cell also grows and produces more yeast cell in this budding manner. In this method, you can see these cells are dividing into two parts and then they separate. So this is what the budding. This method is generally used by unicellular plants like yeast, and they are also called as non-grain plants. This yeast cell produces a bud and which gets its own nucleus, and then it develops to certain size and detaches from the mother cell and produces a new yeast. Now the third type of asexual reproduction is fragmentation. Children, as the word indicates, fragments. In this method, the plant breaks up into two or more fragments, and each fragment grows into new plants. As you can see, in this method, the body of parent organism breaks into fragments, and each fragment can grow to function as a new individual. Like the example, algae, oscillatoria, the example of algae is starfish is also there. Children, you can see this diagram. A part of starfish has been fragmented, cut off. So the new part is grown there and a new starfish is going from this part. So in this manner, this fragmentation process work. Next type of asexual reproduction is spore formation. As the name indicates, in this method the fungus produces spores and the spores germinate and produces new plants. Examples are fungus, fern. Children, in spore formation method, there are some bacteria, microorganisms and fungi which can perform this kind of reproduction. They form the spores, single reproductive cells. that can grow into a whole new organism. And that process is actually called as mitosis. You will learn in your higher class about it. And generally, these spores are light in weight, so they can be carried to any other place by the help of wind or water. And they can grow in suitable environment where they got enough moisture, temperature, and food. Also, they have tough outer coating to allow them to survive harsh conditions. Some examples are given: bread mold, mosses, fern, which contain spores, and those are spreading and forming a new species. So these are the types of asexual reproduction, children. Here we have seen. Here we ends with all the main 4 types of asexual reproduction. Today we will have an idea about sexual reproduction also. Flowers are the reproductive parts actually of the plant, as we have already seen it. So stamen is the male reproductive part and pistil is the female reproductive part. Out of which flowers which have only stamen or only the pistil are called as unisexual flower. Like maize, papaya, they contain any one of them, either stamen or pistil. While the flowers which have both the stamen and the pistil are called as bisexual flowers. Right? So the stamen, which has a filament and anther, anther actually contains pollens, grain which contains the male gametes. And the pistil has stigma, style and ovary. Ovary contain ovules which contain the female gamete or egg. So in this process, in sexual reproduction, the male and female gamete fuse together to form a complete zygote. And this zygote gives rise to a new species or new offspring. In this manner, in plants, sexual reproduction takes place. We will learn about sexual reproduction more in brief in the next video. Till the time, assignment for you is to just go through the asexual reproduction, their types, and draw the diagrams of different modes of reproduction. Children, that diagram of fragmentation, spore formation given in your textbook, you should draw it and practice those diagrams. It is your assignment, as those diagrams come in exam as well. So till the time of your next class, just go through all the static dot part and read out the sexual reproduction part as well, so that you will be ready with the topic and you will be able to understand the basic behind it in the next class. Feel free to ask your queries if you still have any doubt, and complete your assignment. Stay safe, stay home, enjoy online schooling. Thank you everyone.